Arrange the process of comparing CapEx and OpEx infrastructure strategies. Instruction. Drag and drop the items into the correct order, starting with the first step at the top. Determine current and future infrastructure needs, assess cost predictability and budgeting flexibility, compare upfront investment versus operational expenditure. Select the model, CapEx or OpEx, that aligns with business goals. Now let's explain why this is the correct order. We begin with determining current and future infrastructure needs because every financial strategy must start with understanding what the business actually requires in terms of technology, growth, and capacity. Then comes assessing cost predictability and budgeting flexibility. Once needs are identified, it's crucial to figure out whether the organization prefers steady, predictable expenses or can manage costs that may vary. Following that, we compare upfront investment versus operational expenditure. This step directly contrasts the financial impact of CapEx, which usually involves large one-time purchases, against OpEx, which spreads costs over time. Finally, with all factors considered, we select the model, CapEx or OpEx, that aligns with the organization's goals. For example, a tech company expecting rapid change might prefer the flexibility of OpEx, while a manufacturing firm might opt for CapEx to invest in stable, long-term assets. Each step builds on the previous one, ensuring a strategic and financially sound decision. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options in the drop-down menus. Tools like the pricing calculator and total cost of ownership estimator help forecast cloud costs. Now let's explain how we arrived at the correct answer. First, the pricing calculator is specifically designed to help users estimate cloud service costs before deploying any resources. It allows you to configure different services, adjust usage levels, and see pricing details in real time, which is vital for budgeting and planning. Meanwhile, alternatives like Container Balancer do not exist as a standard tool, so they're not relevant here. Similarly, MS-900 focuses on system performance and metrics, not cost forecasting, so it doesn't fit the financial context of this question. Lastly, the image registry is used for storing container images, which again has no connection to predicting cloud expenditure. Therefore, using the pricing calculator and the total cost of ownership estimator gives organizations accurate insights into their cloud costs, supporting better financial decisions before services are even deployed. Match each activity to the service model where the user is responsible for it. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Patching the operating system, IS. Configuring the network firewall rules, IS. Choosing how to scale the application code, PS. Managing user accounts and access policies, SAS. Uploading business data to the system, SAS. Now let's go ahead and explain why these answers are correct. Starting with IaaS, or Infrastructure as a Service, the user is responsible for managing the operating system and configuring network settings. So tasks like patching the OS and setting up firewall rules fall entirely on the user. Next is PaaS, or Platform as a Service. In this model, the provider handles infrastructure and OS maintenance, but the user is responsible for things like scaling the application code. For example, a developer working in Azure App Service would need to configure scaling rules, even though they don't manage the server. Then comes SaaS, Software as a Service. In this model, the provider manages everything, and the user simply interacts with the software. That's why managing user accounts and uploading data are the only user responsibilities. For instance, in Microsoft 365, you don't worry about infrastructure, you just use the tools. Storage tiering and telemetry configuration weren't selected because they relate to optimization and monitoring tools, not core user responsibilities across cloud service models. During onboarding, a company assigns a training course that helps new hires explore Microsoft Azure's capabilities in web hosting, virtual machines, and IoT services. Which course are they most likely using? Select one answer. A. Azure for Students. B. Azure Stack. C. Azure Fundamentals. D. Azure Stack. The correct answer is Azure Fundamentals. Now let's explain why that's the best choice. Azure Fundamentals is designed specifically to give newcomers a broad introduction to core Azure services like web hosting, virtual machines, and even topics like IoT. It's a foundational course aimed at helping learners understand what Azure offers before diving into more specialized areas. On the other hand, Azure for Students is simply a promotional offer that gives students free credits and tools. It's not an educational course by itself. Azure Stack is a hybrid cloud solution used to bring Azure services to on-premises environments, which is far too advanced and not related to onboarding training. And finally, Azure DevOps Labs, although not listed in the options here, focuses on development and automation workflows, not basic cloud service education. So if you're looking to introduce someone to Azure from the ground up, Azure Fundamentals is the most appropriate course. What two mechanisms help improve performance in unpredictable traffic environments? Select two answers. A, autoscaling. B, daily manual patching. C, load redirection via balancers. D, network booting. The correct answers are A, autoscaling. C, load redirection via balancers. Now let's walk through the explanation. Autoscaling is crucial because it automatically adjusts computing capacity based on demand. So when traffic increases unexpectedly, more resources are added to maintain performance, and when traffic drops, resources are scaled down to reduce cost. Load redirection via balancers also plays a key role by distributing incoming traffic across multiple servers. This prevents any single server from becoming a bottleneck, ensuring the system stays responsive even during spikes in user activity. On the other hand, daily manual patching is about maintenance and doesn't impact performance during high traffic. It's more about security and stability. Lastly, network booting refers to system startup over a network, which relates to deployment rather than real-time traffic management. In summary, only autoscaling and load balancing offer the flexibility and responsiveness needed in unpredictable traffic conditions. Your development team deploys an application using PaaS. Who is responsible for managing the underlying OS? Select one answer. A, the cloud provider. B, the development team. C, the QA department. D, the finance team. The correct answer is A, the cloud provider. Now let's explain why this is the correct answer. In a platform as a service model, the cloud provider manages everything from the infrastructure to the operating system and runtime. This allows developers to focus solely on writing and deploying their application code without worrying about OS updates or platform maintenance. The development team, while important, is only responsible for building and deploying the app itself, not the underlying systems. Similarly, the QA department is mainly focused on testing software for bugs and quality, not managing the platform it runs on. And the finance team, of course, has no role in technical deployment or operations. So in a PaaS environment, it's the cloud provider that handles all the underlying OS responsibilities, ensuring a seamless experience for developers. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. Microsoft 365 supports operational efficiency by integrating Power Automate to reduce manual tasks and Power Apps to build custom business applications. Now let's break down why these are the correct choices. Power Automate is designed to streamline repetitive processes. It automates workflows such as approval chains, form submissions, and notifications, making tasks faster and more reliable without the need for constant human input. Power Apps, on the other hand, empowers users to create custom business applications using low-code tools. This means even non-developers can build tailored apps that address unique operational needs within an organization. Other options like Windows Update Center, Notepad++, and Microsoft Paint do not serve these functions. Windows Update Center focuses on keeping the system updated, not automating tasks. Notepad++ is a code editor unrelated to Microsoft 365 services. Microsoft Paint is a drawing tool and has no role in business process automation or app development. So together, Power Automate and Power Apps enhance efficiency and customization within Microsoft 365's ecosystem. Match each Microsoft 365 work management tool with one of its key unique features. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Use My Day View to focus on top daily priorities. To do, create Gantt charts and set dependencies for project scheduling. Project Automate list workflows with built-in rules. Lists, summarize submitted survey results with built-in analytics. Forms collaborate with real-time portable components inside Teams and Outlook, loop components. Now let's explore why these matches are accurate. To do includes a My Day feature, which helps users focus on personal or work-related priorities for the day, making it ideal for individual task planning and time management. Project is built specifically for advanced project scheduling. It lets users create Gantt charts and define task dependencies, which is essential for managing large and complex timelines. Lists allows users to create structured lists with automation rules. For instance, you can trigger actions like reminders or approvals based on list changes, streamlining workflow management. Forms is used to collect and instantly analyze survey or quiz data. It summarizes responses and presents visual analytics without needing additional tools. Loop components are dynamic, portable elements like checklists and tables that can be embedded directly inside Teams and Outlook, enabling real-time collaboration and content updates across multiple apps. The other tools listed, Yammer, Excel, and Booking Staff app, were not used here because they serve different functions unrelated to these unique workflow features. For each deployment ring type, drag it to the appropriate box in the correct match column to match it against its description in the option column. Used for early planning and feature evaluation. Preview ring, used for pilot deployments and validation testing. Limited ring, intended for wide deployment after successful validation. Broad ring. Now let's explain the reasoning behind each match. Preview ring is the first stop for updates. It's where new features are tested in early planning stages before they're released to larger audiences. This ring is ideal for identifying bugs and gathering early feedback. Limited ring follows, involving a smaller group of users who help validate the update in real-world conditions. This step ensures that the changes work properly beyond lab testing and before full rollout. Broad ring is where the update is deployed to the entire organization after it has passed all prior validation. It's meant for maximum distribution once confidence in the update's stability is confirmed. Insider ring and pilot ring are not used in this context. Insider ring typically refers to the Windows Insider program, which isn't part of formal enterprise deployment. Pilot ring may be used informally, but here, limited ring is the recognized term for pilot validation. For each statement below, indicate whether the answer is true or false. Copilot supports co-creation, allowing teams to work on content together in real time. Copilot Chat cannot receive file uploads or generate responses based on them. False, Microsoft 365 Copilot features are the same as Copilot Chat. False, Copilot can draft documents and presentations based on user prompts. True. Now let's explain each of these answers clearly. Copilot supports co-creation, which means team members can work together in apps like Word, PowerPoint, and Teams simultaneously. This promotes collaboration and keeps everyone aligned in real time. Copilot Chat, contrary to the statement, does support file uploads. It can analyze documents and generate summaries or responses based on uploaded content, which makes that claim false. Microsoft 365 Copilot is more deeply integrated into Microsoft apps and organizational data than Copilot Chat. While Chat offers cross-app conversational help, Microsoft 365 Copilot provides full document-level assistance, so their capabilities aren't the same. Finally, Copilot can indeed generate complete documents or presentations when given a prompt. It can follow your instructions, incorporate brand tone, and help speed up the content creation process significantly. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. Co-management allows simultaneous device management through Microsoft Intune and Configuration Manager. Now let's break down why this answer is correct. Co-management is a capability that enables organizations to manage Windows devices with both Microsoft Intune and Configuration Manager at the same time. This allows a smooth transition from traditional on-premises management to modern cloud-based management, or even a hybrid approach. Microsoft Intune is a cloud-based solution used to manage endpoints, enforce compliance policies, and deploy apps remotely. It's particularly helpful for mobile or remote devices. Configuration Manager, meanwhile, is the on-premises management solution that handles software updates, application deployment, and OS provisioning within a local network. By combining both, organizations can leverage the strengths of each system: Intune for cloud agility and Configuration Manager for deep enterprise control without needing to fully migrate immediately. It's like tenant attach. Tools like Autopilot, Windows Autopilot, or subscription activation are important in device management, but they don't offer the simultaneous control that co-management does. For each statement below, indicate whether the answer is true or false. Microsoft Teams supports both chat and push-to-talk communication. True. Microsoft Viva is designed to improve employee learning and well-being. True. Microsoft Intune helps users organize personal appointments and tasks. False. OneDrive supports version control and real-time collaboration. True. Now let's walk through the explanations one by one. Microsoft Teams does support both chat and push-to-talk communication. The walkie-talkie feature in Teams enables push-to-talk on supported mobile devices alongside chat and video meeting functionality. Microsoft Viva is indeed focused on improving employee experience. It provides tools that support learning, engagement, insights, and well-being, all aimed at empowering employees and enhancing productivity. Microsoft Intune, however, is not used to manage appointments or tasks. Its role is in managing devices, enforcing security settings, and ensuring compliance across an organization's endpoints. So this statement is false. Finally, OneDrive supports version control and real-time collaboration. Multiple users can work on the same document simultaneously, and version history allows recovery of previous changes, making it a powerful collaboration tool. A manufacturing company wants to automate repetitive workflows like daily check-ins and equipment logs, while also giving employees mobile access to these tools. Select one answer. A. Use Power Platform tools in Microsoft 365. B. Install Microsoft Project Server. C. Set up Microsoft Loop pages for logs. D. Use Office 365 without cloud integration. The correct answer is A. Use Power Platform tools in Microsoft 365. Now let's break down why this is the best choice. Power Platform tools in Microsoft 365, specifically Power Automate and Power Apps, are designed for exactly this kind of scenario. They help automate repetitive tasks and can create mobile-friendly apps for frontline workers. For example, a Power App could allow employees to check in via their phones, while Power Automate could route that data into structured logs automatically. Microsoft Project Server, in contrast, is focused on complex project portfolio management, not lightweight mobile task automation. Microsoft Loop pages are good for real-time collaboration, but they're not built for automating processes or structured task tracking. And using Office 365 without cloud integration removes access to mobile workflows and modern automation capabilities entirely, making it unsuitable for this use case. So Power Platform tools offer the right mix of automation, flexibility, and mobile access for the manufacturing environment described. A university recently subscribed to Office 365 for student and staff productivity. They later learned they need endpoint protection and advanced device management features as well. Select one answer. A. Upgrade to Office 2024. B. Add Microsoft Viva. C. Upgrade to Microsoft 365. D. Purchase Microsoft Loop. The correct answer is C. Upgrade to Microsoft 365. Now let's break down why that's the best choice. Microsoft 365 includes everything in Office 365, but adds enterprise-grade management and security tools. These include Microsoft Intune for endpoint management and Microsoft Entra ID for identity and access control, both essential for protecting devices and managing user access across a university. Office 2024, on the other hand, is a standalone desktop suite. It doesn't provide cloud integration or advanced management tools, so it doesn't meet the university's new needs. Microsoft Viva is designed to enhance employee experience through engagement, learning, and well-being, not device management or security. Microsoft Loop focuses on real-time collaboration using components like notes and tables, but it doesn't support endpoint protection or administrative control. So upgrading to Microsoft 365 is the only option that meets all the university's requirements. What does Microsoft 365 include in addition to the standard Office 365 apps and services? Select three answers. A. Windows OS licensing. B. Microsoft Entra ID. C. Skype for Business. D. Microsoft Intune. The correct answers are A. Windows OS licensing. B. Microsoft Entra ID. D. Microsoft Intune. Now let's explain why these options are correct. Windows OS licensing is included with Microsoft 365, but not with Office 365. This allows organizations to manage devices using a consistent Windows environment across their network. Microsoft Entra ID, formerly Azure Active Directory, provides identity and access management, enabling secure sign-ins and protecting resources through role-based access and multi-factor authentication. Microsoft Intune is also part of Microsoft 365 and is used for managing devices, apps, and security settings, essential for modern endpoint management in any organization. Skype for Business, on the other hand, is not included in Microsoft 365 as an added benefit. It has already been phased out and replaced by Microsoft Teams, and it was available with earlier Office 365 plans, not as a premium Microsoft 365 feature. So the three additional tools Microsoft 365 includes beyond standard Office apps are OS licensing, identity management, and device management. Which endpoint management component provides data-driven reporting accessible from any internet-connected device? Select one answer. A. Company Portal. B. Intune Admin Center. C. Configuration Manager. D. Windows Auto Patch. The correct answer is B. Intune Admin Center. Now let's explore why this is the correct option. The Intune Admin Center is a web-based portal that gives IT administrators full access to device management and analytics, all from any device with an internet connection. It allows for centralized reporting, policy configuration, app deployment, and compliance monitoring. Company Portal, on the other hand, is meant for end users to install apps or check compliance, not for administrative reporting. Configuration Manager is primarily used for on-premises environments and doesn't offer the same level of internet-based access and cloud reporting as Intune Admin Center. Windows Auto Patch automates updates for Windows and Microsoft 365 apps, but it does not serve as a reporting or management dashboard. So when it comes to remote access to rich device data and management insights, the Intune Admin Center is the ideal solution. Which of the following are true about the Office Deployment Tool, ODT? Select two answers. It can deploy Microsoft 365 apps from a local network source. B, it requires user interaction to install Microsoft 365 apps. C, it uses a configuration file to specify deployment settings. D, it only supports manual installations via USB drives. The correct answers are A, it can deploy Microsoft 365 apps from a local network source. C, it uses a configuration file to specify deployment settings. Let's go through the explanation step by step. The Office Deployment Tool, ODT, is designed for automated, large-scale deployments of Microsoft 365 apps. It supports deployment from a local network source, which makes it useful in bandwidth-sensitive environments or where centralized control is preferred. So option A is correct. ODT uses a configuration file, typically an XML file, to define all aspects of the installation, what products to install, which languages to include, how updates are managed, and more. This means the deployment is predictable and repeatable, making option C also correct. On the other hand, ODT does not require user interaction. In fact, one of its key advantages is silent installation with no user input, so option B is incorrect. And while you could technically use a USB drive in some scenarios, ODT is not limited to manual installations via USB. It's built for scalable, automated deployments, so option D is also false. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. An internal member user authenticates with an account from the host organization and has member-level permissions by default. Let's break this down with a clear explanation. An internal member is someone who belongs to the host organization, usually an employee. They authenticate using credentials managed by the organization's identity provider. Because they are part of the internal directory, they automatically receive member-level access to shared resources unless otherwise restricted. Member-level permissions grant broader access compared to guest-level, allowing users to collaborate, create, and manage content within the tenant. On the contrary, an external guest uses credentials from another organization and usually has limited access. Guest level is the standard default for such users, not internal ones. Therefore, for internal users with native credentials, the default level is member level, making those two dropdowns the accurate combination. For each application governance capability, drag it to the correct description. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Protects inter-app data sharing and controls OAuth permissions. App governance flags apps using expired credentials or excessive permissions. OAuth monitoring allows apps to act on a user's behalf without credentials. Token-based access control manages retention labels in SharePoint. Compliance labeling. Let's now explain. App governance ensures that applications interacting via OAuth protocols do so securely. It sets boundaries for inter-app data sharing and keeps OAuth-based permissions in check. OAuth monitoring works by identifying apps that show suspicious behavior, such as using expired credentials or requesting permissions that seem excessive for their purpose. Token-based access control provides delegated access through tokens instead of passwords. This allows apps to operate on behalf of users while reducing credential exposure. Compliance labeling is part of Microsoft Purview's information governance tools. It assigns and manages retention labels, particularly in platforms like SharePoint. Threat Explorer and Windows Hello for Business are unrelated to these governance tasks. Threat Explorer is part of Defender for Endpoint, focusing on attack detection, while Windows Hello is used for user authentication. For each data lifecycle management feature or fact, drag it to its description. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Content remains in its original location, but edits or deletions are backed up securely. Content backup on edit or deletion. Retention settings apply to SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, Viva Engage, and Exchange. Supported workloads. Retention policies apply retention settings to containers, and settings do not move with content. Retention policy container inheritance. Retention labels travel with content if moved within Microsoft 365 tenant. Retention label portability. Retention labels support disposition review to review content before permanent deletion. Disposition review support. Now for a quick breakdown. Content backup on edit or deletion ensures that even if a user deletes or modifies content, a secure backup version is maintained for compliance and recovery. Supported workloads refers to Microsoft 365 services where these retention policies apply, such as SharePoint, Teams, OneDrive, Viva Engage, and Exchange. Retention policy container inheritance means that retention settings configured at a container level, like a mailbox or SharePoint site, are inherited by the content within, but the settings do not follow the content if it's moved elsewhere. Retention label portability ensures that labels assigned to content will remain intact if the content is moved within the Microsoft 365 tenant. Disposition review support allows administrators or reviewers to assess whether content should be deleted permanently when it reaches the end of its retention period. The distractor, cloud backup unrelated to retention, does not apply to Microsoft 365's built-in retention features. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. App governance provides visibility into OAuth application behavior, including monitoring expired credentials and unused apps. Here's why. App governance helps organizations monitor app-to-app connections, detect risky behaviors, and track activity such as over-permissioned or inactive apps. Expired credentials are one of the hygiene signals app governance uses to identify potentially insecure or stale integrations that could pose a security risk. DLP rules protect sensitive information but aren't related to OAuth app behaviors. Quarantine settings apply to messages, not app tokens or activity. Device health monitors endpoints, not app connections. Malware definitions help detect threats at the device level, not OAuth token hygiene. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. Privacy consent management supports customizable consent models that allow organizations to add branding and language translations for different regions. Let's now explain. Consent management enables organizations to collect and manage user consent in a structured and scalable way. Instead of random or manual collection methods, this framework ensures compliance with regional privacy laws and user expectations. Customizable consent models give flexibility to tailor how consent is obtained. For instance, a healthcare organization might need different consent prompts compared to an online retailer, and these models accommodate that. Branding comes into play by allowing organizations to personalize consent prompts to match their company's identity. A familiar logo and color scheme can help users trust the prompt and respond more confidently. Language translations are equally critical. They ensure that users from various regions can clearly understand what they're consenting to in their native language, reducing miscommunication and legal risk. Firewall settings, encryption levels, access keys, and load balancers, while important for infrastructure security, have nothing to do with user consent, presentation, or customization. For each statement below, indicate whether the answer is true or false. The communication compliance workflow includes configure, investigate, remediate, and monitor steps. True admins can only investigate alerts by reviewing user history and cannot apply filters to narrow down issues. False remediation actions can include tagging messages, notifying users, removing messages, or escalating alerts. True. The monitor step uses dashboards, export logs, and audit events to continually improve compliance posture. True. Let's now explain. The first statement is true because communication compliance is designed as a four-step process. It begins with configuring policies, then investigating alerts, performing remediation actions, and finally monitoring outcomes for long-term compliance. Next, the second statement is false. While reviewing user history is a core feature, admins aren't limited to that alone. They can also apply filters and sorting tools to refine their investigation and pinpoint the issues faster. Moving on, the third statement is true. Remediation isn't just about removing messages. Admins can also tag content for review, notify the involved users, or even escalate the case if the issue is more serious. Finally, the last statement is also true. Monitoring doesn't stop after action is taken. It involves using dashboards, exporting logs, and reviewing audit events. This helps the organization track how well their compliance efforts are working over time. For each statement below, indicate whether it is true or false. Microsoft uses customer data to provide only the services selected by the customer. True subprocessors listed by Microsoft may operate under different privacy standards from Microsoft. False. Customers can access Microsoft's privacy-related commitments through the Service Trust portal. True encryption under the security principle is only required when data is in motion. False. Let's now explain. To begin with, Microsoft uses customer data solely for delivering the services explicitly chosen by the customer. This is in line with the control principle, ensuring that customer data is not repurposed. Now, regarding subprocessors, the statement is false. All subprocessors listed by Microsoft are required to meet the same privacy and security standards as Microsoft, enforced through binding contractual obligations. Moving forward, Microsoft does provide customers access to its privacy and compliance documentation through the Service Trust portal. This allows organizations to stay informed about how their data is managed. Lastly, encryption isn't just applied to data in motion. The false statement ignores the fact that Microsoft applies encryption both when data is being transmitted and when it's stored, ensuring end-to-end protection. For each statement below, indicate whether it is true or false. Private privacy risk management policies support both Microsoft 365 and multi-cloud environments. True tracker scanning in Priva is designed to detect and report on external threats like malware. False data minimization policies help reduce the amount of stored personal data over time. True users can take remediation actions directly from email notifications triggered by policy matches. True, let's now explain. First, Priva privacy risk management is designed to work across Microsoft 365 and multi-cloud environments. This enables broader visibility and policy enforcement beyond Microsoft's ecosystem, making it ideal for organizations with diverse cloud architectures. Next, the statement about tracker scanning is false. Tracker scanning is not meant for detecting malware or traditional external threats. Rather, it identifies web tracking technologies, such as cookies or third-party scripts, on organizational websites. Now, regarding data minimization, this is true. These policies help organizations regularly review and delete personal data that is no longer necessary, thereby reducing data risk and improving compliance. Finally, users do have the ability to take remediation actions directly from email notifications. These emails are interactive and can allow users to make files private, apply tags, or even acknowledge policy reminders with a single click. Arrange the steps to use Microsoft Security Copilot within Communication Compliance. Instruction: drag and drop the items into the correct order, starting with the first step at the top. Navigate to Communication Compliance Policies in the Microsoft Purview portal. Select a policy match that uses trainable classifiers. Click the Copilot or Summarize Action button to generate contextual summaries. Ask follow-up questions in the Copilot side panel for deeper insights. Now, let's unpack how this process works in a real-world scenario. To begin, you need to navigate to Communication Compliance Policies in the Microsoft Purview portal. This is your central hub for managing compliance signals. Next, you select a policy match that uses trainable classifiers. These classifiers are smart filters that identify policy violations based on communication content. Once you've selected a relevant match, you click the Copilot or Summarize Action button. This generates contextual summaries powered by AI to quickly surface the main concerns or themes in the flagged communication. Finally, you engage with the Copilot side panel by asking follow-up questions. This allows you to dig deeper into the conversation, get clarifications, and make informed decisions on whether further action is needed. This entire workflow streamlines how administrators handle policy violations with the help of AI-driven summaries and interaction. A security officer wants to monitor and manage security-related tasks across Exchange, Defender, and Microsoft Entra. What kind of Microsoft Entra role should they be assigned? Select one answer. A. Microsoft Entra-specific role. B. Service-specific role. C. Cross-service role. D. Azure RBAC role. Now let's break this down to understand why option C is the right fit. When a user needs to oversee security functions across multiple services like Exchange, Defender, and Microsoft Entra, a cross-service role is essential. Roles such as Security Administrator fall under this category and allow centralized control across all these environments. On the other hand, a Microsoft Entra-specific role would restrict access to Entra-related tasks only, excluding services like Exchange or Defender. Similarly, service-specific roles apply to individual services, useful if the officer was only working in Defender, for example, but not sufficient here. Lastly, Azure RBAC roles are for managing Azure resources and don't cover Microsoft 365 or Entra environments, so they're irrelevant in this context. So when you need broad visibility and control across services, cross-service roles are the way to go. Which two remediation actions are available in Microsoft Defender for identity? Select two answers. A. Reset user password. B. Disable user in Active Directory. C. Delete Microsoft Teams chat. D. Reboot the user's device. The correct answers are A. Reset user password and B. Disable user in Active Directory. Now let's explore why these two are the right choices. Resetting a user's password is one of the core remediation actions in Microsoft Defender for Identity. It immediately prevents further access with potentially compromised credentials, which is critical during a security investigation involving identity breaches. Disabling a user in Active Directory is another supported and powerful action. This step halts all sign-ins from the user by disabling their account, offering quick containment when malicious activity is detected. On the other hand, deleting a Microsoft Teams chat isn't part of identity protection capabilities. That falls more under communication compliance or data retention, not Defender for Identity. Similarly, rebooting a user's device is not a remediation option provided by MDI. While it may be useful in other scenarios, it isn't part of the automated or manual response actions within this tool. So for managing identity-related threats, resetting the password and disabling the user in Active Directory are your go-to responses. How are records marked using Microsoft Purview Records Management? Select one answer. A. Manually by any user without restrictions. B. Using retention labels configured by administrators. C. Automatically by copying content to a secure location. D. By using external third-party applications. The correct answer is B. Using retention labels configured by administrators. Let's break that down. In Microsoft Purview Records Management, records are officially marked through retention labels that administrators create and assign. These labels define how long content should be retained, when it should be deleted, and whether it should be locked as a record, helping ensure regulatory or business compliance. Now, while users may apply these labels manually in some configurations, it's still governed by permissions and policy, not open for all users without restriction. So, option A doesn't hold. Copying content to a secure location, as in option C, is related to storage or backup strategies, not the process of declaring a file a record. And as for third-party tools, Microsoft Purview doesn't rely on external apps for labeling or marking records. It's an internal, policy-driven mechanism. So when marking records in Purview, retention labels set by admins are the standard, scalable, and compliant method. What does the baseline assessment feature help you evaluate? Select one answer. A. Browser extension risk based on access permissions. B. Recent changes to CVE severity scores. C. Device configuration compliance against industry benchmarks. D. Email threat detection and training readiness. The correct answer is C. Device configuration compliance against industry benchmarks. Let's walk through why that's the case. The baseline assessment tool is designed to compare current device configurations against a set of established industry standards. It provides a clear view of how well your devices are aligned with security best practices, helping organizations pinpoint misconfigurations and prioritize remediation actions. This makes it a key component of security posture assessments. Now, browser extension risk is something you'd typically find in a browser extension analysis, not in a baseline comparison. Likewise, CVE severity scores are tracked in vulnerability or weakness timelines, and email threat detection is more closely tied to Defender for Office 365 features. So if you're using baseline assessment, your focus is on evaluating how secure your device configurations are compared to trusted benchmarks, not on extensions, CVEs, or email threats. Which are common use cases for Microsoft Purview records management? Select three answers. A. Allowing unrestricted user deletion of records. B. Manually applying retention and deletion actions. C. Automatically applying retention and deletion actions. D. Setting default retain and delete actions for SharePoint libraries. The correct answers are B. Manually applying retention and deletion actions. C. Automatically applying retention and deletion actions. D. Setting default retain and delete actions for SharePoint libraries. Here's why these choices are correct. Manually applying retention and deletion actions is a typical use case in environments where users or administrators need flexibility. For example, a compliance officer might manually apply a label to a sensitive document to retain it for 5 years before deletion. Automatically applying retention and deletion actions ensures consistency and reduces manual effort. Policies are created to classify content based on conditions, such as document type or location, and automatically enforce retention schedules. Setting default retain and delete actions for SharePoint libraries helps organizations apply standardized record-keeping practices across departments. For instance, any document added to a particular library might automatically be retained for 7 years by default. On the other hand, allowing unrestricted user deletion of records contradicts the very principle of records management, which is about protecting and preserving data intentionally. That's why option A is not a valid use case. Your team wants to identify and prioritize risky lateral movement paths in your environment. You also want to assess the identity posture based on real-time insights. Which tool or integration should be used? Select one answer. A. SSPM dashboard. B. Microsoft Secure Score for identity. C. Azure Monitor Logs. D. Cloud App Discovery. The correct answer is B. Microsoft Secure Score for identity. Now let's break it down. Microsoft Secure Score for Identity provides real-time scoring and risk-based insights that help security teams evaluate identity posture and detect exposure to lateral movement threats. For example, it can help you identify users with excessive privileges or detect weak configurations that may lead to identity breaches. In contrast, SSPM Dashboard focuses on the security posture of SaaS applications, not Active Directory or Entra ID environments. Azure Monitor Logs is a powerful data store for diagnostics and telemetry, but it doesn't provide an actionable identity risk assessment dashboard. Cloud App Discovery helps you understand SaaS app usage across your environment. However, it is unrelated to user identity posture or lateral movement detection. So if you're trying to visualize and act on identity risk, Microsoft Secure Score for Identity is your best choice. Your analyst team wants to understand the techniques and infrastructure used by a specific threat group and how to defend against their tactics. What should they use in Defender TI? Select one answer. A. MDAT-P Timeline Viewer. B. Policy Analytics. C. Event Timeline. D. Threat Actor Profile via Copilot or Intel Profiles. The correct answer is D. Threat Actor Profile via Copilot or Intel Profiles. Here's why this is the best option. Threat Actor Profile gives a detailed breakdown of threat group behavior, including the infrastructure they use, the tactics they rely on, and guidance for defense. It's designed for analysts to study specific groups and gain intel-driven insights that improve security posture. Meanwhile, MDATP Timeline Viewer is part of Defender for Endpoint and focuses on endpoint events, not threat actor intelligence. Policy Analytics helps assess conditional access policy effectiveness. It's not related to understanding attackers. Event Timeline is helpful when tracking vulnerabilities or incidents over time, but does not offer information about threat actor techniques or infrastructure. So if your goal is to research a threat group in depth, Defender TI's Threat Actor Profile is exactly what you need. Which private feature helps organizations identify and address potential overexposure of data in Microsoft 365? Select one answer. A, subject rights requests. B, privacy risk management. C, consent management. D, tracker scanning. The correct answer is B, privacy risk management. Now here's why. Privacy risk management is specifically designed to help organizations detect and remediate scenarios where sensitive data might be exposed to unauthorized users. It gives visibility into overexposed files, collaboration risks, and internal data handling practices, helping to mitigate privacy violations before they escalate. Subject rights requests, while part of PRIVA, are intended for responding to individual data access or deletion requests under regulations like GDPR, not for monitoring internal exposure. Consent management helps track how users give or withdraw consent for data processing, but it doesn't provide insight into where data is stored or who can access it. Tracker scanning is focused on identifying tracking technologies, primarily for websites, not within Microsoft 365 environments. So when your priority is spotting and addressing data overexposure risks within Microsoft 365, privacy risk management is the most effective choice. For each Microsoft Cloud subscription pricing model, drag it to the appropriate box in the correct match column to match it against its description in the option column. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Provides a pay-as-you-go per-user monthly subscription managed by a partner with admin privileges, Cloud Solution Provider, CSP. Designed for organizations with 500-plus users or devices and involves a minimum 3-year licensing commitment. Enterprise Agreement, EA. Payment for subscription made directly via credit, debit card, or bank account. Direct billing offers a free 30-day subscription for business plans to try out before buying. Now let's walk through each match. Cloud Solution Provider, CSP, offers a flexible pay-as-you-go model managed by a Microsoft partner. These partners provide administrative control, billing, and value-added services like support or consultancy, making it ideal for smaller businesses looking for monthly terms. Enterprise Agreement, EA, is best suited for larger organizations, typically with 500 or more users or devices. This model comes with a 3-year licensing commitment and includes volume discounts and software assurance benefits. Direct billing is a straightforward subscription method where customers pay Microsoft directly using a debit or credit card through the admin center. It's commonly used by small to medium-sized organizations that manage their own services. Trial allows businesses to experience Microsoft 365 services for 30 days before making a financial commitment. It's helpful for organizations evaluating whether the product fits their needs before proceeding to a paid plan. Finally, volume licensing and partner-managed licensing were not matched because they either weren't referenced in this context or represent broader categories rather than specific pricing models. An educational institution needs to provide secure and affordable Microsoft 365 solutions for its faculty and students with various feature tiers. Which subscription plan family should they consider? Select one answer. A, Microsoft 365 Education. B, Microsoft 365 Government. C, Microsoft 365 for Business. D, Microsoft 365 Enterprise. The correct answer is A, Microsoft 365 Education. Here's the breakdown. Microsoft 365 Education is built specifically for schools, colleges, and universities. It includes plans like A1, A3, and A5 that offer essential tools for learning and teaching, with features tailored for both students and staff. In contrast, Microsoft 365 Government is meant for public sector use, offering compliance and security controls specific to government needs, not education. Microsoft 365 for Business targets small to medium-sized commercial businesses. It doesn't provide the same structure or pricing benefits that educational plans offer. Microsoft 365 Enterprise is designed for large-scale corporate organizations and isn't optimized for academic workflows or licensing. Therefore, Microsoft 365 Education is the best fit for educational institutions seeking secure, feature-rich, and cost-effective solutions. What two benefits are associated with a decentralized cloud infrastructure? Select two answers. A, improved reliability. B, slower scaling. C, centralized maintenance only. D, automatic regional failover. The correct answers are A, improved reliability, and D, automatic regional failover. Let's unpack this. Improved reliability is one of the biggest benefits of decentralization. When infrastructure is distributed across regions, a failure in one location doesn't impact the entire system. Services remain available elsewhere. Likewise, automatic regional failover ensures that if one region experiences an outage, workloads can seamlessly transfer to other functioning regions. This adds another layer of fault tolerance. On the other hand, slower scaling is inaccurate. Cloud environments, especially decentralized ones, are built for rapid elasticity and can scale quickly. Centralized maintenance only doesn't apply here either. Decentralization means responsibilities and operations are distributed, which helps reduce bottlenecks and single points of failure. So again, improved reliability and automatic regional failover are the key benefits in a decentralized setup. Match each Microsoft 365 visual and design tool to its core function. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Used for creating and editing videos directly in the browser. Clipchamp provides a freeform canvas for collaborative brainstorming and sketching. Whiteboard helps design professional, interactive web-based presentations. Sway enables creation of flowcharts, org charts, and floor plans. Visio. Let's break it down and explain. Clipchamp is a browser-based video editor that allows you to create and edit content directly online, complete with timelines and transitions. This makes it ideal for users who need quick video editing without installing software. Whiteboard offers a virtual canvas where teams can brainstorm visually and organize ideas in a collaborative space, similar to using a physical whiteboard but digitally enhanced. Sway, on the other hand, is tailored for web-based storytelling. It combines text, images, and media into sleek, scrollable presentations, which differ from the linear format of PowerPoint. Finally, Visio is your go-to for technical diagrams. Whether you're building network layouts or organizational charts, it provides the precise shapes and templates required for flow-based visuals. As you can see, each tool has a distinct purpose designed to meet different creative and planning needs. For each statement below, indicate whether the answer is true or false. Copilot in Outlook helps you catch up on long conversations by summarizing them. True. Copilot in Access is used to create new databases from templates. False. Microsoft Editor is available in PowerPoint to assist with grammar. False. Copilot in Word integrates with Researcher to help manage citations. True. Now let's go through the explanations one by one. First, Copilot in Outlook is designed to summarize lengthy email threads, helping users quickly understand the flow of conversations. This saves time and reduces email fatigue, especially in a fast-paced environment. Second, Copilot is not integrated into Microsoft Access. Access remains more of a standalone database application, and while templates exist, they aren't part of Copilot functionality at this time. Third, Microsoft Editor focuses on spelling and grammar assistance and is embedded in Word and Outlook, not PowerPoint. Therefore, grammar suggestions in PowerPoint are not currently driven by Editor. Finally, Copilot in Word pairs with Researcher to support academic writing. It helps users generate citations, build bibliographies, and integrate scholarly sources, making it a valuable tool for students and researchers alike. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. Azure Virtual Desktop supports multi-session Windows desktops and uses FSLogix to optimize user profile management. Let's go ahead and explain why these answers are correct. To begin with, Azure Virtual Desktop provides a cloud-based platform that allows multiple users to access virtual desktops simultaneously. It's ideal for remote work, training labs, and other shared computing environments. Next, multi-session is an important feature here. It enables several users to run applications and perform tasks within a single Windows session, which improves resource efficiency and reduces costs. Then we have FS Logics, which plays a key role in profile management. It provides a seamless user experience by ensuring that profiles load quickly and consistently across sessions. This is especially critical in environments with multiple concurrent users. In contrast, Windows 365 supports only single-user desktops, Autopilot is used for initial device setup, and OneDrive is simply a file storage service, not a virtualization solution.